Got it going. All right, we are live. What about those Aggies?
Man, oh man, starting off area played the correct way. Couldn't ask for a better way to start off, really the most important part of the basketball season with the 51-44 win over our defending area champs, the Clay Central Volunteers. So heading towards the right direction to bringing the area championship back to Sylacauga. It was a phenomenal game. Phenomenal two basketball programs competing today. Congratulations to our Aggies for getting the win. Congratulations to Coach Jones for getting his first area win as Sylacauga head basketball coach. So we're super proud of our guys and a super great win today.
Absolutely, I so agree. One thing I can say about this Sylacauga basketball group right here, they work together, they take what the coach say, and they just display it on the court. Now, we had a few turnovers, yes we did, but we seal the deal. That's exactly what we are looking for in every game.
Absolutely. Just the characteristic of being able to, get up early in the first quarter, sustain a pretty good lead in the second quarter, kind of course, Clay Central being a very good basketball team, they gave us a fight in the third and fourth quarter. But being able to seal the deal, as we've done multiple times already this basketball season,
Yeah.
is a characteristic, excuse me, that we need to carry on and make sure that we keep as we head into area play, as we head into the postseason. But like you said, taking on the tutelage of the coach and applying it to the court. When I think about Coach Joel Jones, and many people can agree with me, I think about hardcore defense. Of
Yes.
course, our ball handling and our offensive production needs to be up to par. But everything starts on the defensive end. Whether we're running a 2-3
Absolutely.
zone or we want to be running a man, we want to keep our guys in front of our. We want to move our feet. We want to get ball level. We want to break down. We want to just play hardcore defense. And I will say, holding a team to 44 points is good. It's great.
I so agree. My coach, Coach Justin Martin, always said defense will bring about the offense. So I love a
Absolutely.
good defensive team. Any team that can get out there and hold their opponent to a certain amount of points, that is my type of basketball, Jordan.
Absolutely, I agree, cuz, and just just the detail to defense and understanding how hard you have to work and how much time of detail that you have to put in to understand how to guard ball screens and to guard certain actions that are popular in today's game. 4 out 1 in, motion types of things. It takes a lot of hard work, and that to be one of your main focal points as a basketball program speaks to the level of intensity that that we preach in practice of how hard we have to work on the defensive end. And like you said, turning your defense into offense, playing good defense, keeping your man in front of them, and then jumping some passing lane, getting some open layups, having some deflection, getting some open layups, getting in transition, pushing the ball when we have numbers. That is the definition, in my opinion, of Sylacauga basketball. Of course, was started with the great Gerald Douglas and Justin Martin, that is carried on into their protege, our beloved Coach Joel Jones.
Yes, who I absolutely love so very much. And let me just say this, I'm not going to say much tonight because I've been under the weather, but I have to get this out.
Absolutely.
I see that a lot of the time, I feel as if people want coach to fail per se.
Talk about it.
However, when you a man of that stature and you carry yourself the way that Coach Jones do, you can do everything except fail because he's a God-fearing man. He's a family man. He is a father to those guys on and off the court. It doesn't matter if they have good fathers. He's just a good man father figure. He handles his program very well. He is a good person. He give those guys pointers. He have those guys set up in a way where they come out and they're ready to play. He don't allow certain things. on and off that court is, and that's what those guys absolutely need. Every men's basketball team need some form of guidelines, and he has definitely given that. But what I know and what I see and what I hear behind the scenes, let me just say, no weapon formed against him shall prosper. Now let's keep it moving.
Absolutely. Let's just put that into the atmosphere because just to be quite frank, being, where we are in the state, in the country, having a man like Coach Joel Jones in the position that he is, a lot of people are not happy. But the results yield a bit different, right? We're 15 into one and 0 in area play. We beat people of the likes of Chelsea and
Yes,
Pelham. We split with Benjamin Russell, which is a very good basketball program, a 6A program at that. This program is heading into the right direction, and this is the
yes,
definition of the way that Sylacauga Aggie basketball needs to go. But the thing about Coach Jones is that we must understand this is not his first rodeo when it comes to basketball. He's been doing
absolutely.
this basketball thing for the upwards of 30 to 40 years. But what makes it even special, he's been doing the basketball thing within the Sylacauga High School context for 30 upwards to 40 years. It's not like he spent 10 years over here at Pelham, or he spent 10 years over here
Mm-hmm.
at Briarwood. His whole basketball career has been dedicated to his alma mater. And so,
Mm-hmm.
the thought that you want him to fail, the thought that you don't want him to succeed, it's not going to be that easy. It's
That's
not
right.
going to be easy for him to go down the paths that some of our former coaches have gone by post, the Copeland, the post the coach Douglas and Martin era, because he was there with them and before them.
That's
You see
right.
what I'm saying? And so the thing about Coach Jones is that I thank God that he's in the position that he is in right now today, so the fruit of his work can manifest into something that people cannot deny.
Absolutely. And I love the way you put that, Jordan. You absolutely hit the nail on the head with every single thing that you just said. And let's just say he know the game of basketball.
Period.
This is not nothing that he decided he wanted to do overnight. And the record shows from last year up until now, it's just showing. He had those young men together when they were at Nicholas Lawson. He has specific plays for these young men to do their thing, which
Absolutely.
brings me to this point. When they played Winterboro, I'm just going to put it out there. They did not play their hardest game. But,
Absolutely.
and so, the game wasn't as exciting as it usually be, but I'm an Aggie fan, so I'm rooting. However, I fell asleep at the wheel, so to speak, and I look up and CJ is catching an alley oop.
Mm,
Can you imagine it?
mm.
So that taught me a lesson. Don't ever sleep on the Aggies.
Don't ever sleep on the Aggies. Don't ever think that we're not going to display the fullness of Aggie pride each and every opportunity that we have. If you just see my behavior, throughout the school and throughout basket and throughout sporting events in general, Aggie pride means so much to me. My mother graduated from Sylacauga
Yes,
High School in 1991. My father in 1993. My grandparents graduated from a school some of you may know is called East Highland
yes,
before Sylacauga High School was integrated. And so the Aggie pride in this community means so much to me. That's why I appreciate Coach Jones so much. And so when we have an opportunity to express our Aggie pride, we're going to do just that. And that involves us not backing down and giving it our all. Now, talking about this game today, against the Clay Central Volunteers, understanding that they're literally metaphorically in our backyard, and they're in our area. Area determines, how far you can go into the playoffs, or if you make it to the playoffs at all. You see what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying? This part of the season means the most. But our Aggie pride allowed us to go into the game with the right mindset that business needed to be attended to. We took
Speak
care of
on it.
business. The first quarter we came out, we held them to we held them to single digit points until probably about 2 minutes left in the first quarter, and we held them to, I want to say, about 16 or 17 to our upwards of like 29 to 30 during halftime. So our defense was excelling the entire first half and pretty much the entire game. Offensively, we had some good looks that we did not capitalize on, which we will continue to work on and make sure that we capitalize on as many good offensive looks as we can. But through the coaching of Coach Jones, through the athleticism of our players, CJ handling the ball, of course, playing Corbin playing off the ball at the two guard. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have Josh, you have Aiden down low, of course, Jordan with his senior leadership handling the ball as well. You have Gabe doing some of the ball handling, and you have Tristan doing his thing down low. We were able to accumulate enough points to keep us in the lead. However, offensively, we're still working to that fullness, fluidity that we need to. But the wonderful thing, like you and I just talked about, defensively, we took care of our business to put us in a position to win the game.
Yes.
So, and shout out to Aiden, whom scored, I want to say 19 points with eight rebounds, which was 14 points and eight rebounds, who was named the player of the game. It was his contributions, along with CJ and along with all of our other players, who made us came out with victory on tonight's matchup. So so yes,
Yes, he did a
Aggie
great
props.
job. One thing I like to see is those guys out there on that floor giving it their all. I don't care if it's not your best game, but every game needs to be a game that you give it your all.
Oh, lay it on the line, as Coach Jones like to say.
Absolutely. And I definitely want to give a shout out to the guys for winning that game against Lincoln.
Mm,
Great job. And I want to give a special shout out to my nephew, Eric O'Neill.
one time for the Cuzzo.
Yes, I want to say he had between 20 and 22, 24 points, one of
Mm-hmm.
those. But
Absolutely.
he played an amazing game. And I wasn't there to get the highlights like I usually do because I've been under the weather. But shout out to you, nephew. Keep it
Absolutely.
up. Um,
Absolutely.
he definitely has got back into his game. Two games, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but he's not playing his game. Well, he took it, he learned from it, and he's back. Greatly appreciated.
Absolutely, Cuz is doing this thing, regardless of like he's just his offense is coming to him as it's been with him the whole time. He's just getting back to the stride of things, just like you said. The one
That's
thing about
right.
Cuz, regardless of if he's like owned or not, he always will allow himself to box out and to get rebounds and allow us athleticism to work on defense. But
Yes,
offensively, he's starting to get back into the swing of things. Beating people off the dribble, off the wing, laying up the ball. Stop, pull up, jumper. You know what I'm saying? Cashed in on those opportunities, getting back on defense, deflecting, going back down the court and doing it all over again. So shout out to Cuz. He had, I think, right at 20 points the leak in the game. If I'm sure, if not, it definitely wasn't under 20. It definitely was above 20. So shout out to Cuz, man. And he did his thing tonight as well. He hit some crucial shots that allowed us to continue to maintain a lead. And I think that those kind of quality wins, to where it's not necessarily a blowout, you have to continue to maintain a sufficient lead, can help us in the long run, because we're not always going to play teams, with all due respect to them, that we're going to just beat 55 to 27 in the first quarter. You see what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Metaphorically, playing teams like Clay Central, having that tenacity and scrappiness that they do have, it allows us to have our resume built for when it comes to late January and early February, going to the regional and to the Final Four in Birmingham. So, and
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And I just want to say, great job, Aggies, because we lost to the same team twice last
Talk
year.
about it.
Yes, we did. And to me, we had the better team, but it just didn't come together.
If I
However, it did this year, and I'm so proud of these guys.
if I'm not mistaken, I know we lost the area championship last year, but I think we lost the area championship my sophomore year, that year before that as well. So we're on the
Oh,
right
wow.
track. Exactly. It's been a while since the Sylacauga Aggies have hosted the area trophy, and so we're on the right track to getting that area trophy back to Sylacauga. Now we've taken care of Clay Central. We beat them at home. Now we have, of course, we have the travel to Clay later on in the season, but we have Briarwood this Thursday,
Oh, yeah.
which is a newcomer for us in the area. I remember last year the first time we played them at home, it was a tough loss, but then when we went to their house, we only lost to them by maybe like about a 2 or 3 or 4 point margin. And so I hope that when we go into the game against Briarwood, we will go in with the mindset of taking care of business. And Coach Jones talks a lot about this, in private. The teams that we play that are really fundamentally sound, a lot of ball screen action, a lot of offensive action that are very X's and O's, the
Mm-hmm.
Pelhams and the Chelseas of the world. That's the kind of way that Briarwood attacks the game of basketball. Very fundamentally sound. And so the reason that we've played Chelsea twice, we played Pelham once, playing those kind of teams will set us up to be having success when we do play Briarwood this Thursday. So hopefully we will go in with the mindset of executing and communicating defensively, because you've seen it, you'll see it again on Thursday. That team is very, very fundamentally sound. A lot
Yes.
of passing cuts, a lot of
Yes.
backdoor cuts, what have you. And so go into it with that mindset of just capitalizing on what we need to do in our assignments defensively and make sure that our offensive flows well so we can be able to go up 2-0 in area play. And those are the two more formidable opponents in our area, with of course respect to Shelby County as well. Um, and then, like I said, the first and second quarter we took care of business for the most part. The third and fourth quarter, though, we kind of slacked off just a little bit. We allowed them to get a few breakaway buckets. A few kids knocked down a few late threes. But like
Mm-hmm.
I said, cuz we maintained our lead, we kept on striving, and we made it to the finish line. So kudos to the Aggies, always expressing the essence of Aggie pride.
And speaking of Briarwood, I've always known for them to be fundamentally sound. Those guys are going to come out there, they're going to pick and roll, they're going to cut to the basket, and they're going to set screens, and they're going to play hard, and they're going to play off pure fundamentals. So, with that being said, I feel like our guys got what it takes. They know their fundamentals, like we've talked about before, Jordan. I've watched these babies since they was little bitty babies. And that's exactly what they've been doing ever since I've seen them from day one. They know their fundamentals. Only thing that they need to do is play their game to the
Absolutely.
highest capacity.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree, cuz, and me being around basketball for a little while, of course you being around basketball for much longer than I have. You have basketball teams that have the fundamentals and not the skill and the tenacity, or vice versa.
Absolutely.
But the one thing about Sylacauga High School basketball, we have the skill, we have the athleticism, we have the tenacity. But Coach Jones is not going to allow you to be out there, carrying the ball, dribbling the ball way up here. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
have some fundamentals in your game. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you attach fundamentals into talent and athleticism, you're unstoppable. And more, singing in the choir, when you're at church, you have just full on talent that's taking over the anointing, right? But when you go to like a more of a professional choral arena, you have your fundamentals, you have your more, fundamental type singing. But when you put those things together, you mix your talent with your training, you're unstoppable. That's what some of people have told me when it comes to basketball, when it comes to many areas of life. And so when we add our fundamentals, of course, Coach Jones is huge on that. Defensive drills, sliding, being on your toes, not allowing your feet to cross, what have you. We put our skill. You have you know many people on our basketball team that's very athletic. You put those things together, allow the machine to work well, we're unstoppable.
Jordan, I love the way you put your words together when you're talking about this Aggie Nation.
Aggie
Such a
pride,
good job.
baby.
You
Aggie
look, you
pride.
are a magnificent commentator. Let me just say that real quick.
I appreciate that, cuz Aggie
Um,
pride, man. Aggie pride.
Great job. I see you handle detail. You see detail and you speak well about detail. Everything that you have said, you have absolutely hit the nail on the head with everything you have said. Really and truly, I'm just piggybacking off what you're saying because you're
Absolutely.
hitting everything that needs to be said at this
Yeah,
point.
Because you know what I mean. I know that I appreciate you for getting on with here with me tonight because this was a very important game. But of course, I know you're trying to fight that excuse me, not little, the code that you do have. And so I just want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you know that I'm here for you. I got your back. We're gonna make it shake. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna give our people what we need and make sure that you get what you need as well, so that you can get well. But the
That's right.
game was good, cuz it was a
It
good
was.
game. It was a good game.
I was definitely cheering. Anytime I'm watching those guys, I'm screaming at the TV. I'm cheering just like I'm at the game. And what I love most is that these guys have a great chemistry together. And when I say that, I mean they're out there to win. It doesn't matter who performs the best or who does this or who does that. They don't care about that. They care about the win overall. And that's something that you just can't teach a team. A lot of the times when it comes to a team, you will have certain people sometimes that feel above the team, or they don't get out there and what they practice don't show on the court. But I just can't say this for this Aggie team. The only thing that I can say about our team is that sometimes we get off on a track where we're not playing our game. And when I say our game, we're not giving it 100%. And just because we don't give our all does not mean that everybody's not on the same page. It takes the leader, which is the coaches, to reel those guys in and make them see what the mistakes are so they can always get back on track. And usually in that third quarter, we come out and we don't play.
Absolutely. Um, cause one thing about me, I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this, but if I'm in a position to be in the locker room for the post and pre-game speeches by Coach Jones, if I can ever, come from the student section or at the scores table to get doing like the timeout huddles, I always try to figure out what he's going to say. But Coach Jones, being the person that he is, he's always has some kind of motivation and tutelage that puts the kids on their right way to victory. And the one thing that he harkens on is laying it on the line. And
Mm-hmm.
the one thing about Aggie Pride and Sylacauga basketball, it's about laying it on the line. And if we continue to lay it on the line
Mm-hmm.
and exit out the moments where we might not necessarily do that
Mm-hmm.
and continue to give it our all, put our all into basketball, we will be successful. I'm a huge fan of women college basketball. Of course, my favorite team is Don Saley. Of course,
Of
Sunshine and
course.
Don are from the same city, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
Yes.
right? And of
Yes.
course, South Carolina. The defending national champions went undefeated last year. Of course, Don Saley being a strong black woman leading a very powerful basketball program. Their theme last year was love. And she famously said, if you love the game of basketball, the game of basketball will love you back. If
Mm.
you love the game of basketball, if we lay it on the line, if we give it our all, it will love you back. And I feel like, in my humble opinion, that is the essence of Coach Jones and Silicon basketball, laying
Yes.
it on the line. Because when you do, it will love you back.
Absolutely. I mean, when I step in that basketball court and I see those guys lining up, getting ready, like it really fills my heart up. Like I love basketball, but I love to watch players that have love and respect for the game of basketball. And let me say this to any athlete out there, and this can apply for life as well. Don't ever get off, get out there on that court and not give it your all because you will regret it. You will regret
Absolutely.
it. You don't ever want to look back and say, I wish I would have just went a little harder. I wish I would have went to sleep an hour earlier. Treat basketball with respect the same way you would do with your life.
My thing is because piggybacking on what you said, from a basketball fan standpoint, from a coach's and a player standpoint, if you truly do love the game of basketball, it's evident.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell if a kid truly loves the game or he's just out there goofing off and just going with the motions. I was watching a documentary about an HBCU major at Dance Line, and during the audition process that was part of the documentary, the audition person, the person that was, judging the girls, told them, we can tell if you just want to dance for Southern University, which was the college in question, or if you
Mm-hmm.
truly just love dancing.
Mm.
Circling it back to basketball, we
Mm-hmm.
can tell if you're just out there just to say that you play basketball or you truly love the game. It's a difference. And I will say that Coach Jones loves the game of basketball, and he's instilling a love, bringing out the love that the kids have to the game of basketball, which yields results like 15-2, ranked the top 10 in the 5A class.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Come on, put some respect on Silicaca High
Put
School
some
basketball,
respect
man.
on it.
Aggie pride, baby, Aggie
Aggie
pride,
Pride. And I want to give a shout out to my sister Tiffany Brown, along with Felicia and Bo. Matter
for
of fact,
sure,
all of the parents, because if you notice, after every home
for
game, they
sure.
feed those guys. I know
This
they be hungry.
this
Yes,
cup right here was full of drink that Miss Felicia and Cuzzo gave me, and I in my bag over there I got a sandwich that they gave me. Like they always take care not only of the players
yes,
but everybody in the program, and so shout out to them, man. It's just the village aspect, in my opinion, of
yes.
Silicaca basketball is coming
Talk
back.
about it.
People helping out, the stands being packed with people that are ready to see basketball back played the proper way. Man, I don't understand what Silicaga was doing, man, not hiring our man many years ago, but we're not going to talk about that. But
Yeah,
yes, shout out to Miss Tiffany and Miss Felicia and Mr. Bo and all of the parents, Miss Kenson's mom, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, for all that they do for
yes,
us, making sure that we are fed. It takes a village to raise a child. Heck, it probably takes a village to make sure that a basketball program is ran properly. So we appreciate them wholeheartedly.
yes. And shout out to Christina as
Oh,
well.
of
And
course, Cuzzo, of course, of course,
yes,
of course.
shout out to Skylar.
Mm-hmm.
Just and shout out to the Aggie Network commentator as well.
Mm-hmm.
I
Jeremy
just
and his
that's his name, Jeremy. Jeremy does a great job by keeping up with those guys' names and explaining the game of basketball. And he don't hold back. I like that. Like
of
we don't
course.
need nobody to sugarcoat anything. Tell it like it is.
Shout
Because
out to just, if I may, cuz just to everybody in the basketball program. And I
hmm
hope that this year instills a sense of community and a sense of togetherness so that we can be together to make sure that all of the parts are put in the proper place to make sure that this machine, functions well so that we can have a few more blue maps in the trophy case when you walk through the main entrance of Silicaca High School.
you know what to say because that's exactly what we need.
Absolutely.
And how you doing, Felicia? We don't mind doing any of what we're doing right now. We
Absolutely.
definitely want to shine more and more light on this Aggie program because we got some superstars on that team.
For sure.
And for the record, I won't ever sleep again when I'm looking at in the game or when I'm filming because I don't know what CJ's gonna do. That's just a fact.
Shout out to number 5. Shout out to CJ, athlete, man. Somebody that loves the game of basketball, that asserts himself in each way that he can. Man, we're just extremely blessed, cause
We
just
are.
to have the CJ Franklins of the world, the all everybody, Eric O'Neill's of the world, Jordan Robinson's, everybody on the team. We're blessed to have
Yes.
my peers that we do have, cause and to have people like Coach Jones and Pastor Schuyler and everybody that's involved in the entire machine, because it's amazing. Cause we're extremely blessed.
And what's our manager name? The young
Um,
man?
Mike, my
Y-
cousin as well.
Yes.
Mike, we have and then of course Pastor Stillman, Justin. Of
Yes.
course, he's a
Those two
silicon.
young men. Shout out to
Absolutely.
them. They are some wonderful young men, very respectful in every way. Every time I'm around them, they are yes, ma'am, and they just give good vibes. And they are some awesome young men.
Absolutely. Shout out to the girls as well. They did suffer a devastating loss tonight against Clay Central, but of course we'll bounce back. Sylacauga girls are the same thing as Sylacauga boys. We all have Aggie pride within us, so shout out to them. Man, it's just something special about Aggie pride because
Yes.
you we had a teacher. His name was Mr. Elif, and he was one of the people who pioneered homecoming week to be what it is now. See, if you remember the past couple of years, I was like, "Cuz I need the camera, I need the camera, homecoming week. I gotta have the camera for homecoming week because it's just a
Mm-hmm.
special time for us people that go to Sylacauga High School for just celebration." And he talked about one day, he talked about how people say "Go Tigers" or "Go Pirates" or "Go this" or "Go that," but we say Aggie Pride,
Mm-hmm.
AGGIEPRIDE. And it's just something special about those words, man. Aggie,
Absolutely.
Aggie pride. I don't care where I go. Of course, I hope that I, make it successful in life as you did, cuz. But we always will have Aggie pride.
Absolutely. And one thing I can say about that is, hey, listen, there's nothing like a good old Aggie pride. I want to give a shout out to my mom, my dad, Tip and
Oh
Marjorie
man.
Brown. They made a decision that changed my life forever. We moved from Winterboro High School when I was going to the eighth grade, and we came to Sylacauga. And I'm telling you, that was one of the best moves of my life because I then became a Lady Aggie. And that will stick with me until infinity.
Cause surely you know plenty about this, but I ate some pound cake today from Miss Margie that made my mouth just melt. I would pay good money. I'm talking about upwards of hundreds of dollars to see if Miss Margie can make me a pound cake just for me. Had my birthday coming up, maybe she'll feel generous, man. But cuz I just feel like it's important and we need to keep it this way. Keep the train rolling to have people in place that understand Aggie pride. It
That's
takes
right.
walking the halls of Sylacauga High School. It just takes some certain, key elements in life to truly understand what Aggie pride is. You can't come from, Jasper to today and tomorrow we'll be walking around Aggie pride and it to truly mean what it means to you being an alumni, me being a future alumni, my parents being
Yes.
alumni.
Yes.
It's just something, me growing up in Sylacauga, projects, walking distance from the high school, Macmillan Court
Yes.
is just right down the road. You see what I'm saying? Winterboro
Yes.
right down the road. Oh, Dina, you know what? Sycamore right down the road.
Yes.
It's just a
And
certain
and
level of.
shout out to the cheerleaders. I see
Mm.
them doing their thing. One thing I like about the cheerleaders is they don't back down. You can see the other cheerleaders from the opposing team basically cheering, coming for them, in their cheer way. And our girls don't back down. Shout out to Abby.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Abby. Shout out to all of them. All of them. I'm one of their biggest fans and biggest critics. And I let them know. I say, hey, when it comes to certain games against certain opponents, we have to bring it now because I know they
Yes,
bringing it to us. It's
yes,
wartime, as I say to the cheerleaders and to the students every day.
absolutely. Well, I don't know what happened. I think Jordan may have gotten disconnected. But yes, we just want to give a special shout out to the cheerleaders. They do a great job. Halftime, they come out there, they build their pyramids, they put it on the line. And we really appreciate that. We just appreciate this whole Aggie program. This is a dream come true. From down to the coaches to the players and also to the parents that's working behind the scenes. We appreciate what you guys are doing. We see you. We see you every step of the way. And trust me, the reason why I do what I do is because we deserve to see these guys shining. Hold on, we got Jordan coming back in.
My
There you go.
apologies, cause my probably had some technical difficulties. But
No
that was what I was
problem.
saying. As I was saying, I would chill. Like I said, I'm the biggest fan and biggest critic. Like I always be like, "Hey man, y'all gotta bring it, man. We got. I know these girls gonna try to call us out. Just give it your all, lay it on the line, express Aggie pride, and they do a phenomenal job, man. When it comes to tumbling, flipping, when it comes to doing chants,
Yes.
whatever we gotta do, man, just to
Yeah.
make sure that they feel us, man. I want their student section of cheerleaders to remember the night they came to
Yes.
play for Chicago. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the kind of stuff I be on, cuz that's the kind of stuff I be on.
And you know what? When we have a major opponent, there will be a full student section.
Oh,
So
for sure.
shout out to the students that come ready to cheer the team on. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I also
Aggie
want to give
pride,
a shout
baby.
out to Principal Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Great job. Great
Mm-hmm.
job.
Oh yeah. Miss
Um,
Rivers, he pretty
I
cool.
love what he's doing. You know, he followed us over here from Nicholas Lawson.
Mm-hmm. He
And
did.
I love it. I love it.
Indeed
Um,
he did.
you know, he was also a coach um, during the rec league at one point in time as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we are surrounded by people that know basketball and love basketball.
Absolutely. That's important, cuz that's very important.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else you have to say to the people before we end this live?
I would like everybody appreciate everybody tuning in. We got a big win over Clay Central tonight, 51-44. We played excellent defense offensively. We did as good as we needed to do to get the win. So we thank you for checking out our recap. Come back to see us if not Thursday before the game, Thursday after the game, or maybe Friday, whenever we can squeeze it in. Of course, we got to make sure that Cuz is feeling well because we do have another area opponent, Briarwood. And then looking in hindsight to the season, we have the county tournament, which will be a big opportunity for us to get some content out there for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay on the lookout for that. But Aggie Pride, shout out to Coach Jones, shout out to everybody on the team, just shout out to the entire Aggie Nation. Um, let's go to Birmingham, cuz, and let's show them what the 256-35150 have in store.
Absolutely. And one thing about it, I feel like we got the team for it. And I
I
stand on
agree.
that 100%.
Period. 10 toes down.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for tuning in. You can follow Brandy Brown Media and Photography for more content. Also, make sure you follow Jordan Moon. He does a plethora of things behind the scenes. He also does some photography as well. Don't
I need to
ever
get back
sleep
on my
on him.
pictures. I need to get back on my pictures.
Shout out to Christina. She
Of
also does
course.
photography as well. A lot of the times I'm busy collecting video clips. And, you know, I can only do one thing at a time. So I appreciate you guys for stepping in and doing things like that because I love to see the pictures as well. That's one of my
Absolutely.
passions. But I also love doing the videography as well.
Of course. Of course.
All right, with that being said, go Aggies, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Aggie Pride, baby.